If you love boxing, you're gonna love this.
Well, hello and welcome to episode 17 of the BoxNation podcast. I'm your host, Dev Sani, and I am joined by a man who, well, if you were to cut him in half, he would be bleeding boxing. It is, of course, Mr. Steve Lillis.
Hey, it gets better. I just want to get to episode 19.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to sing something for you.
You're going to sing something?
I'm going to sing something because one of my favourite songs is a song called 19 and Mad. So that day, when you introduce me, you're going to get a chorus of I am 19 out of my head, I am 19 getting on for dead. You are going to get that in a couple of weeks. That will be worth tuning in for. Forget the interviews.
Yeah, I almost want to skip episode 18 and go straight to episode 19. Well, good stuff, Steve. Now, how are you, mate?
I'm good. I'm good. Busy week of boxing again. I think, there's a big fight coming up this weekend, and then, of course, we'll be looking forward to the big show in Belfast in April.
Of course, lots coming up. Now, the clocks have gone forward, which means I get to see you a full 1 hour earlier than usual, which I'm absolutely delighted with. But you'd think my spirits are very high, but actually, Steve, this week they are not.
Tell me why.
It's nothing personal, mate. This week I'm displeased, I am despondent, I am a tad troubled. And you'll find out why at the end of the show. But let's put it this way. I'm a man who's had his dreams crushed.
Oh, I think I know. And I've you haven't told me before. Even, you haven't sent me any messages or called me. I've got a feeling I know what's coming, but...
Stick around to the end of the show and you'll find out for definite.
Do I need my handkerchief?
Yes, several. Get me some as well. It's still another sizzler of a show. We bring to your ears Frank Warren, Anthony Yarde, Ronnie the Shark Clarke. We look ahead to this weekend's action, and as ever, Steve Lillis has something he wants to get off his chest. Stick around and you'll find out what he's ranting or even praising this week. Enjoy. So I've been checking the stats of the BoxNation podcast. We are 17 weeks deep now, and I've seen a very clear correlation. Whenever we bring you Frank Warren, you listen. So without further ado, here's Frank Warren with Steve Lillis.
Frank, thanks for joining us on the podcast again. First of all, Billy Joe Saunders, there's talk of Canelo and Golovkin not fighting. What would the situation be with Billy Joe?
Well, first of all, I understand Canelo, from what I'm reading, how true it is, that he failed 2 drug tests. And obviously Vegas, Nevada Commission are reviewing it, and they'll make their decision. If they fall into line with most governing bodies and he hasn't got an explanation for it, then obviously he'll be suspended and won't be able to fight. If that's the case, then, what does Golovkin want to do? Who's out there for him? He needs a meaningful fight. The most meaningful fight is him and Billy Joe Saunders to unify the belts. And obviously that's the fight that Golovkin said he wanted. And let's get it right. In his last appearance, his last time out, he put a masterclass on against David Lemieux, which was seen by HBO viewers, so they know who he is. And that would be a cracking fight to get on. Problem we got is that Bill sustained a hand injury, which caused us to postpone the fight. We postponed the fight to the 23rd of June, only because that's the first date we could get at the O2. Whether it'll be ready earlier, we'll know this week. But he was talking of him being ready by the end of June. I don't know whether being ready by the 5th of May is a proposition, but we'll sort of have a look and see. But if he does fight Golovkin, he's not going in there 80 or 90%. He's got to go in there 100% fit.
Is that a fight you could get to London if it could happen, do you think?
Yeah, I think we'd get a good gate with it and obviously generate good TV income. It's a pay-per-view fight, and I'm sure it'd do big numbers over here. Obviously, Golovkin's established himself in the States. He's had good response from live gates in New York, and maybe they'd want it there. But I've got to be honest, wherever the money's right for Bill, he'll be there. He's confident he has the ability to beat Golovkin, so he just wants to fight. So wherever it is to him is irrelevant.
Big week for heavyweight boxing coming up. Dillian Whyte against Lucas Browne. Did you watch it at the weekends? I think your prediction was pretty close when I spoke to you last week.
Yeah, I did watch it, and I thought it was all predictable. Lucas was being made out to be something. He had that big win in Chechnya, but other than that, You know, I remember where I put him on put him on. I think it's in Wolverhampton.
Yeah.
A little while ago, and I thought he stunk the place out, and he just wasn't in it, was he? He didn't even look fit to me, to be quite honest.
Dillian Whyte now, will he go on and get the winner of Parker and Joshua?
I don't know. I mean, it's up to. It's not a false deal with Parker, that's for sure. And again, it's up to Joshua if whether he wants to rematch with him, providing he gets through Parker.
And how do you see that fight this weekend, Frank?
I've sort of got to favour Joshua. I noticed in his training he seems to have shifted a bit more weight. It looks a bit leaner, so he's obviously working on the speed aspects of his game plan. And I feel that I think it'd be too fast for Parker. You know, Parker's, he's tough, he's strong, and he's not a bad puncher. But I just think he's a little bit too slow and a bit too ponderous and predictable. Obviously, though, there's not a question mark that there is a flaw with Joshua, that he can be caught, and when he gets caught, he does wobble.
And of course, another heavyweight who seems to be coming back. There was talk the other day, I saw on one newspaper, that Tyson Fury might be signing with you, or had signed with you.
Well, we will see what happens. At the moment, a lot of it is talk, but we'll see what happens. Obviously, we'd be delighted if he's on board with us.
And finally, Frank, Carl Frampton, interim title now against Nonito Donaire. Is Oscar Valdez the route you'd like to go with him now? Because obviously there was talk of fighting Lee Selby or Josh Warrington.
Well, our options are open on that. First of all, is that regarding the interim, I know you get people go, oh, it's an interim title, where comes there all these titles? The thing is that Valdez now has a broken jaw, and he's going to be out of action for a long, long time. There's no doubt about that. So you can't have the title stagnate, and I think they give the champion, the WBO, in creating an interim title, that enables the champion time to recover and not lose his title outside the ring, and keeps the division flowing. Should Valdez not recover, or he's out too long, then obviously if Carl beats Donaire, which is a tough fight. If he beats him, he'll then be declared champion in due course. But whatever happens, Carl just wants to fight the best out there. That's why he's fighting Donaire. Yeah,
I mean, there's a lot of criticism of interim titles, particularly with the WBA. But you're saying that the WBO, they are doing it for the right reason. What they were initially brought in for many years ago, they were for injured boxers to recover, weren't they?
Well, I think with the WBA, you've got super champion, diamond, all these different champions. They've got regular champion. That's a lot. For me, that's a massive confusion. The interim title on the strength of a boxer being genuinely injured, a champion being injured, I don't think it's right that they should be stripped, and it gives them time to recover. If they don't recover, then it enables the guys who are underneath who have been waiting for their shot at the title to carry on fighting and not be held up. And I think that's a good way of doing things.
Now, Steve, a few bits I want to pick up on there from what Frank mentioned. It feels like the middleweight division is kind of on standby at the moment to await this verdict of Canelo, who's temporarily suspended, isn't he, after the drugs tests?
Until I think it's April 10, the Nevada Commission hearing. Now, what they're going to do, we've no idea. Boxing works in mysterious ways, and you can call me a cynic if you like, Dev, but I always feel that when there's, morally perhaps this fight's wrong, but against Golovkin, given he's failed the 2 tests, but you think something like the Nevada Commissioner, I have a sneaky feeling they'll let it all go underneath the carpet, shall we say, because there is so much money. But, the middleweight division is on standby, and perhaps this is a serious issue. There was a really interesting quote from Dan, well, not a quote, from Dan Raphael on Twitter, where Dan said that on the HBO telecast of the Dillian Whyte-Lucas Brown contest at the weekend, there wasn't one mention or plug for Canelo Golovkin,
really? Okay.
Given it's one of their big pay-per-views. I mean, you wouldn't know about that because I've heard a rumour that Dan Raphael's blocked you from Twitter, which I find hard to believe. Because Dan, if you don't know Dev, we've all got tempers on us at BoxNation. Yeah. This guy's the mildest mannered fella in the building.
Just a nice bloke. So I don't know why he has blocked me. I can't imagine. I can't imagine I was abusing him. I've never been one to really dish out abuse on Twitter. I keep myself to myself on there. If you want to argue with me, I'll have an argument. But me and Dan Raphael, I don't know how that's happened, but I am indeed blocked. So I didn't see that tweet.
Yeah, well, I saw it last night. But he's got a point there, and that sort of raised me that is a concern. But I think I still have a feeling the fight will go ahead. So much money at stake here. although Golovkin is obviously very angry with Canelo.
Well, yeah, I mean, initially, me and Barry Jones, when it all happened, we talked about this and how Golovkin was initially silent. He didn't say anything, and people were like, oh, he's such a bad man, he's not saying anything, and he's not reacting to all of this news. But he's gone the full opposite now. He's saying he's a cheat. He's just come out and gone full savage on Canelo.
Yeah, well, I can see why. I mean, look, the old Mexican meat excuse, there is a problem there, but as we're going back to when the issue first started. But I can see why he's possibly quite angry with Canelo, and of course Paulie Malignaggi's had his say over the weekend as well. But Paulie's never been scared to have his say when it comes to boxing and drugs.
No, I recall his accusations towards Manny Pacquiao and his ascent through the weight divisions. That they were always quite amusing. Now, Billy Joe Saunders' fight with Martin Murray on April the 14th was postponed until June 23rd at the O2. Now, that June date isn't because that's when Saunders will be ready. That was the next available date, so there's a chance he's ready before that. How do you see this all playing out? Because he's coming out saying, I'm no one's plan B. Golovkin's team have been saying, well, if we can't get Canelo, we're going to go towards Saunders. It's all a bit up in the air. Yeah,
look, I mean, I don't know what the situation is contractually with Martin Murray. If that, if Saunders suddenly wanted to fight, Golovkin, and then Golovkin wanted him to come to the dance with him as such. So we don't know that situation. But I can see what Billy Joe's saying. But if someone suddenly offers you the Golovkin fight, and the time span suits you for that sort of money and prestige, you don't mind being a second choice, I think.
And we learned last week that Frampton versus Donaire on April 21st at the SSE Arena in Belfast has been upgraded to the WBO interim featherweight title. Now, this was because of the injury suffered to Oscar Valdez, Steve.
Yeah, well, look, I'm not a fan of interim titles. I've spoke this for you before, Dev, but in these circumstances, Valdez is out for a very, very long time, it seems, So if he's going to be out till, say, the end of the year, there's nothing wrong with keeping it active, provided, as soon as he's back, he fights, Carl or Donaire, if that's the route that they want to go. I mean, so, what this does, it gives extra options to Carl.
And he really is hurt, Valdez. I mean, he had his jaw broken. He's had it wired shut. He's definitely going to be out for a little while yet.
Yeah, so I can understand the interim. And we just remember, before we, as I say, what my feelings on interims. This is what interims were brought in for initially 15, 20 years ago, when a champion is injured and he can't fulfill obligations. That's what they was brought in for. So it seems like the WBO here are acting right before people start jumping on, oh, not another interim, what's the point of this title? You got to. I think here you give a pass.
Yeah, I think if it had come in before the Quigg Valdez fight, and you'd have announced this, then everyone would be like, another title kind of thing. But since that injury's happened, and he's going to be out for a while, it ticks a box for me.
Yeah, it's fine. I've no problem with it in these circuits. This is what interims were there for.
And that's a big fight on April 21st in Belfast.
Cannot
we'll be
wait.
live on BoxNation. Cole Frampton, Nanita Donaire. How could it be anything other than fireworks?
Great fight. Two men. And as I say, you never say never in boxing, but for the loser, especially if it was Donaire, what a long route back it would be.
Very much so. It would certainly be that. Now, last week I took a trip down to the Peacock Gym in Canning Town to spend some time with the undefeated light heavyweight sensation Anthony Yarde. There are a few questions from social media, and I sat down and had a bit of a Q&A with the Beast from the East. So, Tom Blake on Twitter asks, what are the benefits of the pad work that he does, that's yourself, with his trainer? That's Tunde.
The benefits of the pads is so much fun. Me and Tony just like to have fun in the gym. People have their different opinions on it. My opinion on it is that it's very fun. So, some people like to watch it, some people don't. But everyone likes and wants to do it, but not everyone can. So, we're just having fun. Not every great person lets out all their not secrets, but all their strategies, or how they train or what they're doing. You can see it, whether you choose to believe it or choose to do it yourself or see, or whatever you want to believe in. It's totally up to you.
Question from Andrew Paul 3182, and I know this is a big one. Should Arj marry Gemma Collins?
No. Like me and Arj banter about it a lot. because literally, from what I've seen of them, I've known us since 2012, like when I went Vegas, and what I've seen of them two, they just seem like very, very good friends. Well, sometimes that's the best way to be in a relationship, because you know each other in and out. When he was going through whatever he was going through, she was like a mother figure to him. I saw some things. I saw some of that. So you know, I know that she cares about him a lot. She looks after him, and again, she will be the kind of person to help him grow up in some areas. So you know, I think it's good.
Paul Thor wants to know, what are Anthony's top 3 all-time light heavyweight fights?
My first favourite was Roy Jones versus Richard Hall. I think that fight was fantastic. You know, I think that's one of the fights that Roy Jones showed his levels and his class and his skill. Another great fight, I'm sure this was at light heavy, was again Roy Jones versus Vinny Paz. That fight was lit. He jabbed. That's what you call a jab massacre. He jabbed Vinny Paz, and Vinny Paz was dangerous. So probably my last one, I'm not saying it in any particular order, but I did like when Hopkins fought Roy Jones as well. I thought that was a good fight. The second one was at live. The first one was at middleweight, innit? Yeah, the second one.
And I'm guessing Roy Jones is going to feature again here. The Boxing Republic is asking, who are your top 3 favourite boxers of all time?
Boxing is there's a sweet science behind it, hitting and not getting hit. I feel like the best people that have done that, with the flair there, with the excitement there, I would say number 1 would be Floyd Mayweather. He's statistics prove it. He's fought the most world champions in history, undefeated, took the least punishment in boxing history, has the highest punch output to connection ratio in history. So that's boxing. It's not entertaining to everyone's eye, but that is boxing. So he'll be my favourite in that aspect. Again, definitely Roy Jones. I've already spoken Roy Jones. And Mike Tyson in his prime. A later Mike Tyson was more of a fighter, but early prime Mike Tyson was definitely an aggressive boxer, counter puncher. He was literally all in one, exciting knockout artist. So Mike Tyson, Roy Jones, and Floyd Mayweather.
Have you met Mike Tyson yet? Or
you know, it's actually weird. I haven't actually met Mike Tyson. I've met Roy Jones. I've met Floyd Mayweather, but I've never met Mike Tyson. I've seen him from a distance, but where he had a big crowd around him, I'm not one of the people that will go over and try and get into the crowd. So I've never actually met him, but I've seen everything of him.
Have you been starstruck meeting anyone yet? And so obviously you're mixing in, your circles are becoming more prestigious, so to speak, more known people, but has anyone left you starstruck?
This is an honest answer, and the answer is no. I think the biggest shock was when I met Floyd Mayweather, how I met him as well. He literally just walked through the gym, touched my fist, carried on walking, and then later on that night, we was with him for a couple hours. But still, I wasn't in awe, but it was more of a shock, thinking, hang on, that's Floyd Mayweather. We met 50 Cent the same day that I met Floyd Mayweather. Again, it's like it was a surreal day, but then I just come to realise that these are just normal people. I was with 50 Cent for 2.5, 3 hours, just literally sitting in the room. There was about 6 of us just talking. So that's when you get the feel of like how someone is, who they are, etc. But I've never had that awe thing of looking at someone and being like, oh, I can't talk, or shaking, or you can't be yourself. And I've never really had that.
Not even today, sat next to me.
Well, this is a bit different.
Yeah.
You know, because you're Dev.
Yeah.
So, you know, when you're sitting there talking to Dev, you know, see me, I didn't even take my jacket off. Usually I get comfortable, take off my jacket. When you're in front of Dev, you know, you start acting out of character.
It's a different thing. So we're Friday at the moment. There's a big fight in your division tomorrow. This podcast will go out next week, so we'll get to see if you were right or not. But Buglioni or Johnson, how do you see that fight going?
But that's how you know I don't pay attention. I didn't even know they were fighting. When they fighting tomorrow?
Yeah.
I didn't even know they were fighting, and that's again hand on heart. I did not know that they were fighting tomorrow. How I see the fight going, I haven't seen enough of either guy. I've seen Buglioni fight live when he was a super middleweight. I've seen him once at light heavyweight when he beat Burton. I saw the last 3 rounds of the fight, so I haven't seen enough of each person to give a prediction. But what I do know from what people have told me, that Callum Johnson's got a strong amateur pedigree. Not sure of any of their records, who's got more professional experience, so I'll be given a bias and false opinion if I gave an opinion on the fight. I don't know enough about either fighter, but on the night I hope the best man wins, and yeah, I hope it's a good fight for the fans.
David Ireland asks, how long was you boxing amateur before turning pro?
I was boxing amateur just short of 3 years before turning pro. And 1 year, I would say 2 years, because 1 year of that I didn't get no fights. I was just literally training. When I fought Jermaine Taylor, he's got the same name as a professional. So when I fought Jermaine Taylor, who won the ABA, it might have been the ABA novices, under 20 bouts. He won the year previously before that, and I stopped him in the first round of it. And then literally after that, no, they said they lost my boxing card. And then I didn't get to carry on fighting in the competition. I was vexed. And then after that, I didn't have not one single fight for a whole year. People was agreeing to fight me, pulling that. People were saying, no, we don't need to fight him, or we don't want to fight him. We'll fight him in competition, etc. So then I was just training, just from how my sparring was going and things like that, and where I want to go in life. I just came to the gym one day. I said, yeah, ton, Unc, let's make it happen. Let's go pro.
How long were you playing football for Tunbridge Wells? Is that right? Someone's written it here. It's Cowan Plastering.
Yeah, I was at Tunbridge Wells literally a short period of time.
What position would you play?
Up front, beast from the east, bully, bully in the centre backs, all around the board, bully in the right back, bully in the centre back, bully in the left back, centre mid. If you want to come here, you can get it as well. Yeah, but I was playing for them for about a month. I went from Bishop Stortford to there. I was at Bishop Stortford for about a year and a bit, playing for the reserves and under 18s, and then or under 21s. I don't know, I can't remember. And then got charged for Tunbridge Wells, slapped in a couple goals. You know how it goes. And then literally I was there for a month, and then I got a charge for QPR, and then that's when I had my injury and little things like that. So it was an up and down scale. I'm so happy it happened.
You were scheduled to fight on April 14th on the Saunders, Murray, Flanagan, Hooker show. That show's been postponed to June the 23rd. What happens between now and then? Are you going to try and sneak a fight in somewhere? Like, how does it work for Anthony?
Anthony just keeps working, keeps trying to progress. Remember, people, they have a short memory span. Not that anyone cares, because when it's all said and done, or when facts happen, people don't care about how much amateur experience you had, or how you got to where you got to, or what you did to get there. People don't care about that. People only care about present, and then when it's finished, they care about what you did, because you're gone. But when it's present, they don't care about what happened or how you got there. I had a very short amateur career, so I haven't really got time, and I haven't got that kind of personality either to be taking 4-week breaks and doing all these kind of things. I'm in the gym trying to get better, progress, at the same time not trying to overdo it. But yeah, just trying to get better, man. Each fight I'm planning to go out there and be better, and just elevate step by step. The way I see boxing is it's a job. So the same way you go to work a 9 to 5 where someone's telling you what time you have to be in, what to do, etc. I see this as my job. I'm privileged enough to have got to where I've got to, so I can only show respect to life and be in the gym.
You changed from the Beast to the Beast from the East, or are you both? Have you gone with both nicknames, or is it just the one?
I just believe there's too many beasts, and I don't want to go out there fighting everybody and saying, let's fight for the title. Not everyone's the same weight class, so we can't make that happen. So I'm one of the people when I was younger, I always used to say like, Beast from the East. I'm one of the people I like to ram things as well. So where I got the name Beast from the East, where it just, I adopted it. It got given to me. The Beast was a bit boring for me, so I just come up with, I think I was doing an interview and I just went, someone said the Beast, and I was like, Beast from the East. Yeah. You know how it goes. And I had a suit on, so I said Beast from the East, wearing a 3-piece. You know how it goes. Lions in the camp. I like to feast. You know how it goes. We only eat meat. Come on, my G.
Well, I'm very glad we've cleared that up. Thanks for your time, Anthony. Well, that was Anthony Yarde, 15-0 with 14 knockouts. He's currently the WBO #2 ranked light heavyweight in the world. Steve, The light heavyweight division on the world level and domestically is just booming right now. We saw Frank Buglioni and Callum Johnson at the weekend. We've seen the Eastern European beasts, your Kovalevs, your Bivals in recent weeks. How far can Anthony Yarde go in this division?
Look, he can go as far, a long way. I mean, he's got on one side, you can see he's been matched carefully. Also say he's been matched perfectly by Frank Warren and Tunde Ajayi, who's his manager and trainer. Mm-hmm. He's getting a few more rounds under his belt. He's beating people. The opponents have improved over the last couple. So we've got to remember, he only had, was it a dozen or so amateur fights? So he's still very much work in progress. But it's all about right fights, right time, fighting the right styles. And then I'm sure in 12 to 18 months' time, we will find what he's all about for sure when he goes in. So, a world-class fight.
Yeah, and I spoke to Tunde on Friday. That's Anthony's manager and trainer, as you mentioned. I spoke about the postponement. What are they going to do now between now and June the 23rd? And Tunde obviously, it's not great that it's been postponed, but he's okay with it. He's kind of saying, we got more time to prepare, more time to learn. And Anthony Yarde's very much a student of the game. So all this time, he's not going to take a month off and just eat. He's going to be training, and behind closed doors, they're going to be doing a lot of work. So Tunde almost kind of welcomed the delay in the Saunders-Murray show.
Yeah, well, the thing with Anthony is, he's also been doing a lot of learning on the job, so to speak. He's been kept, 15 fights in less than 3 years as a pro. He's been kept busy. So I'm just having a quick look at it. I'll be honest, I'm looking at BoxRec. I'm not doing this from the top of my head. So I don't want these people who conjure and pretend they're, this is his longest. I'm looking at BoxRec as I speak to you here, Devil. We're honest on this podcast. And I think,
completely transparent podcast.
Yeah, so this will be about a 4-month gap in between the Tony Avalon fight and fighting. Well, 1 month short of 4 months. Looking at his record, I can't think when he's had that sort of length out at the time. I think at end of 2016, he beat Ferenc Albert, and then 5 months later he beat Darren Snow in Leicester last year. That's about the longest gap he's had out of the ring. 4 months in the gym won't do him any harm, and he does look after himself. He's always training. You go to that Peacock, if you ever wanted to find Anthony Yarde, you just walk into the Peacock about 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and you'll find him. He's not the hardest man to find.
He's also confirmed there that his nickname has indeed changed from The Beast to The Beast from the East. Steve, discuss.
I prefer The Beast because really? Nikolai Valuev was the original Beast from the East.
Oh yeah, of course, the big 7-foot monster. I mean, aesthetically, they look very different. Nikolai Valuev and Anthony Yarde.
They're both beasts. Well, Anthony's proven to be a beast in the ring.
Yeah.
Valuev looked like a beast if you go on his performance against David Haye.
I do recall in the build-up to...
I just prefer simple two-word nicknames. Anthony the Beast for me.
Well, he's gone for the Beast from the East, and I recall in the build-up to Haye Valuev all those years ago, David Haye kept saying Valuev looked like something out of Lord of the Rings, and I wouldn't make him far wrong though with that one. What would your nickname be as a boxer, Steve Lewis?
I don't know.
Putting you right on the spot. I'm putting it on you today.
Mate,
we're not even here to play. Come on, give me something.
Lasher Lillo, I'll go old school.
That. Lasher Lillo.
Lasher Lillo.
Oh, man, right there.
We'll go that. But the Beast from the East. Now, I've read something the other week, actually. Well, I'm going a bit off topic here, but in case we haven't seen this, I read the other week that Nikolai Valuev's career now.
I've heard this, but I'll let you have it.
You've got it, haven't you? He's a children's TV presenter in Russia.
That is incredible.
Perhaps people could let us know any boxers they know who had really off-the-wall careers after leaving the sport.
That is one of the best ones, though, because you couldn't put him there. You wouldn't think, this guy.
It's a children's TV. I mean, if you look at the people you get on CBeebies and stuff like that, they're all like little gentle people, little, angelic, fair-haired women or fellas that are just clean-cut looking. I mean, Nikolai Valuev as a children's TV presenter doesn't work, I don't think.
Well, they don't look like him, but yeah, Nikolai Valuev there. We've gone off on a tangent. He was apparently the original Beast from the East. The current Beast from the East, trading under that name, is Anthony Yarde, and he'll be back on June the 23rd at the rearranged April 14th show at the O2 Arena. Saunders versus Murray will headline that show. Daniel Dubois will be out, and Horror Davis as well. So we look forward to that one. Well, last week we heard from Zelfa Brown Flash Barrett after his first career defeat. He went deep. He talked about finding out who his real friends are. He talked about learning, talked about wanting to jump back in with the man who beat him for a rematch. Well, after several requests from you, the listeners, on our social media, this week Steve Lillis caught up with the man who defeated Zelfa Barrett, the thong-wearing and kiss-blowing grizzled Scottish veteran Ronnie the Shark Clarke.
Ronnie, thanks for joining us on the BoxNation podcast. And the whisper is yourself and Zelfa Barrett could do it one more time.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, my management's been in contact and said they're looking for the rematch, so just looking forward to a date getting set in stone and obviously to be back in the ring, so that's it.
You're the champion now, you've got the IBF European title. Why are you being so generous and giving Zelfa a rematch?
I don't care who I fight. Like, all through my career, I've never dodged anybody. Like, I just love fighting. I know where I'm at. I'm in a much better place than I've been in a long, long time. I know 100% in my heart where I am, where I'm going, and I know that I'm going to succeed. And at super featherweight, I know 100% where I'm at.
So where is it you're going as a super featherweight?
I'm just winning. That's obviously this one we have next. I just know, no matter what I have to do, what I'm going to do, and like, I know, I just know. I don't want to be arrogant. I don't want to be disrespectful. I just want to continue to progress and just go to the top.
So do you think they're making a big mistake getting you to fight Zelfa again?
They made a massive mistake taking the fight in the first place. This was the problem. They made a massive mistake taking the fight in the first place. It's crazy. It's just a crazy fight.
Yeah,
at super featherweight, Zelfa Barrett does not beat me. 100%.
Do you think Zelfa can perform better than he did in the last fight?
I thought he performed well. He done things well. Could he perform better? Maybe he could. As I said before the last fight, I don't focus on what people can do, what my opponents can do. It doesn't interest me how good they are, who they've beat, when they've beat them, what they've beat them by. But none of it concerns me. I know exactly where I'm at. I know exactly where I'm going, and I just need the opportunities to prove it.
How have do you give yourself a pat on the back for how you've bounced back after the problems you had outside of the ring?
I don't have to praise myself in any way. I just have to stay true and keep working hard. People would say, oh, you've won a European title. People would dream about winning a European title, and that would be it. In boxing, this is just the beginning. This is the beginning of me. Like, at 33-year-old, I'm progressing. I'm fitter than any of the do. I've never been beaten in the bleep test. I've never been. When we run cross country at school, I was always win. I always come first place. I always work hard, and I always come out on top because I strive to be better. I want to be the very, very best. I've always wanted that. And then for a while, when I come from kickboxing to boxing, I just enjoyed the fighting. And then obviously last year, whatever happened, I had some time out the ring, and I had time to reflect and think about what exactly I wanted. The end product is I want to succeed. I want to succeed in it. I want to be at the very best that I can be. And I know 100%. When we say 100%, I'm beyond that 100%. And I know when I fought Zelfa Barrett, I wasn't 100% at boxing ability. Wasn't 100%. It wasn't the best Ronnie Clarke that you have seen. It was a better Ronnie Clarke than what there's been before, but it wasn't the best. It was not 100% of my boxing ability in that boxing ring. It was 100% heart and 70-something% boxing ability.
And are you one of these boxers, you said it's just the beginning, are you going to be like Bernard Hopkins, one of these guys boxing in his 40s?
Well, ideally, I said this year that I have 2 more years boxing. I said at the start of this year, I have 2 more years boxing. At 35-year-old, I'll retire from boxing, and these 2 years I'll succeed, and whatever comes at me, I'll embrace it. Yeah. And I'll just be the best part of me that I can be. Yeah. I just know exactly where I'm at, and people would say you have to have rest. Things I didn't do before, Before this year, I would be in the gym every single day, killing myself. I mean, working hard, real killing myself. This year, when I started, obviously, end of last year I was working, but this year, when I started working, when my body's needing to rest, I rest it. I don't push through that pain. I rest, because when my body's telling me that I have to rest, I have to rest. I take the rest, and I'm succeeding. Like, what I'm doing, I'm succeeding. And I'm mixing everything up. I have my yoga, my body balance. I keep myself all mentally, physically, everything is pristine. Keep myself really close to the weight, because I know that it's going to be the phone calls. Ronnie Clarke's the man that'll take a fight on 2 days' notice. So whatever people want to throw at us, I'm willing to embrace. Last year as well, I would worry about, when I fight away from home, I have to knock them out, or when I fight away from home, blah blah. There was so much stress, so much negative. For example, coming into the dressing room before the fight, and the dressing room's like an icebox. I'm thinking to myself, like, is this for real? Putting me in a hotel an hour away from the venue. It's not any advantage, but I've seen all this in the kickboxing circle. When I done kickboxing, I've seen all this, I've seen it getting done. I prepared for it. So my time off last year was just preparing in the head. So for anything that's thrown at me, I'll embrace it, I'll smile, and I'll come out stronger. I'll come out stronger, and I'll come out better. And the most true person that you'll meet, like, black is black and white is white, I just say it exactly how it is.
One thing where you did bring some amusement before the Zelfa fight, when you got waded in a thong. Are you going to repeat that again next time?
I can never plan. Like, what happens to me, it just happens. There's not any kind of script or any kind of plan or any kind of... People are like, this is going to happen or that. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know myself what's going to happen. I don't think anybody will. What happens with me. I love the sport. I love all contact sports. I love fighting. It's my life. Like, it's what keeps me ticking. Like, boxing's my clock, and at the moment it's just what I have to do and I'm going to do.
Steve, I think that's a big statement from Zelfa, wanting to jump straight back in with Ronnie the Shark Clarke, and Ronnie the Shark Clarke is adamant that Zelfa Barrett and his team made the wrong choice initially, and no doubt think that they're going to make the wrong choice again. Yeah,
well, first of all, credit to Zelfa for wanting to jump back in. You know, there'd be plenty of prospects who had won their first 19 fights and then lost one, who would think, I'm going to have 5 more wins, you know, getting my confidence back, and then I'll go in with this person. Perhaps when they've aged a little bit, once they've had 2 or 3 tough fights. But no, he wants to go straight back in, prove that that was, okay, I don't like to lose the word, but a fluke, even though, you know, the right man won clearly on the night. And Ronnie, he'll have it. You can see why he's got this. Why shouldn't Ronnie Clarke be confident of beating him for a second time? Because he deservedly won the first fight. Now, that was a majority decision. Zelfa won't mind me, or I don't know how you, more yourself. I think you were in agreement with me, Dev, that Ronnie was a clear winner on the night. Yeah.
No, I'm right there with you. I thought majority decision was maybe a bit too lenient towards Zelfa. You know, he fought well at times, but Ronnie Clarke was the winner for me.
But there's still a lot of people who really believe in Zelfa. Boxers I speak to, you know, I spoke to Frank Warren a few days after the fight, and straight away, his words were, I still think Zelfa's a very good fighter.
Yeah,
you know, I'd like him to go straight back in. He's a good fighter. I spoke to Josh Warrington, Carl Frampton, both still believe he's a very good fighter. So when people like that are saying it, you know, especially the boxers, then you've got to maybe think that, you know, Zelfa perhaps can turn this result around. But all credit in the world to Zelfa, because if he lost to Ronnie for a second time, you really would wonder what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. And keep an eye out on the BoxNation and Frank Warren's social media platforms, and when that rematch does get announced, you'll be first to hear it. Well, we've got to talk about it. The fight was announced in the middle of January, and now we are just days away. This Saturday night, the talking will finally be over. That's right. From the Guildhall in Preston, Liam Conroy will defend his English light heavyweight championship against the experienced and game Miles Shinkwin. Steve, you're laughing. What do you think I was talking about? What do you think I was talking about?
A little event that's happening in Cardiff, but no, I'll be in Preston. Where else would I want to be?
There's nowhere else to be.
Geraghty Quigley, Liam Conroy, Shinkwin, Jack Hatchell having a fight. Where else would you want to be this Saturday night other than Preston Guildhall, which is, after York Hall, the finest venue in the country for watching boxing?
Oh, there you go, and there you have it. And Conroy versus Shinkwin is the nominal main event. So, of course, I asked my esteemed colleague here, Steve Lillis, to give the English champion a call.
Liam, first of all, your fight against Miles Shinkwin on Saturday night, your BoxNation debut. Give us your take on the fight.
I think it's a good fight, a proper trade fight. I think it's a good blend of styles as well. I think we're both complementing each other's styles pretty well. I think we're quite similar. I think with Miles coming back with a couple of losses recently, I think his back's against the wall a bit, and he's gonna come out and really make a good go of it. You know what I mean? I think he's going to have something to prove, and it's going to make for a good fight.
Yeah, I mean, you say, he's had a couple losses, and, his back's against the wall, so he's going to want to come out and prove it. You know what it's like yourself to lose as well when your back's against the wall, don't you?
Yeah, definitely. It gets your head down a bit, but for me, it just made me a lot more driven and determined to prove everyone that was following me wrong kind of thing, and I'm guessing it's going to be the same, so it's going to make for a good fight.
How did you turn your career around? Because, you're on a fantastic nine fight, one draw and 8 wins on the spin. What's the secret to your success over the last 2 years?
I think moving up a weight helped me a lot. I think I used to go to the gym and I wasn't learning as much as I could have. Like when I was working with Jim and Johnny, I used to be thinking about losing weight rather than getting better, you know what I mean? And now I'm thinking about being a light heavyweight and I can eat a bit more and be a lot more athletic and confident. Obviously, I've had a couple of bad losses that I think people have seen me at my worst, you know what I mean? I think now I don't feel like I've got anything to lose. I'm just a lot more laid back and just think about just doing what I need to do and challenging myself and doing what I need to do to win the fight, basically. And there's just no pressure there because everyone's seen me lose that. Even though I'm an English champion, I feel like I'm the underdog every time. People just focus on my losses, you know what I mean?
Tell us about this power you seem to have found. Is it, your last 4, 5 out your last 6, you've knocked them out?
Yeah, they're lucky punches, I think. I don't know. Just working together. I'm really fit, so I think I'm just going into weight. I think I'm still only 25 and going into weight, getting stronger, doing all top defence conditioning training, and always in the gym in between fights and stuff. So I think I'm just getting stronger and getting better, and timing's better and everything. It's just all coming together.
And did you watch the fight last night, Frank Buglioni and Callum Johnson?
Yeah, I watched it. Yeah, it was. I was surprised that I did that early. I thought it could be a stoppage either way, but I was surprised it was so early. But I think it's a bit of a shootout from the start. I think Frank caught Callum Johnson. I think he went for the finish and got caught himself, and ended up getting finished, kind of thing.
And another possible fight for you is a boxer who's on BoxNation. I know Anthony Yarde. Is that a fight that appeals to you?
Yeah, anyone that I can test myself against, like that.
What do you think of Anthony Yarde?
I think he's good. I think he's obviously doing everything after him at the moment, stopping everyone in fights. So I think he hasn't fought anyone to give him much trouble. I think there are certain styles that might give him trouble, but he hasn't seemed to come across them. He has been caught a couple of times. I would have been interested to see the fight with Hezekiah Burton if that fight had been made. I know the board called for that.
And finally, your fight against Miles Shinkwin, can you just let BoxNation viewers know what can they expect from them, because they haven't seen you before? What are they going to get on Saturday night from you?
Just an entertaining fight. I'm always an entertaining fight, so every fight looks different, but I think it's going to be a good fight.
So, Steve, as you mentioned, it's a nice little show on Saturday. Conroy is undefeated in 3 years now. He's 15-3. He's put together a good little run. He's beat some good men. Talk to me about this one.
You know what? He's really turned his career around. He lost to Cello Render, no disgrace. But you had losses there to Maxwell, and he had another early career loss. I think he was fighting then at middleweight. He's obviously a lot happy at light heavyweight, and he's had some really good wins the last couple of fights. Joel McIntyre was a good stoppage. I think Shinkwin has won and lost against him, I think.
I think so, yeah. Chris Hobbs
and then, of course, he stopped Chris Hobbs. He stopped 5 out of his last 6. He's unbeaten in his last 9. He drew 9 fights ago, and he's won his last 8. He's really turned his career around. And we're talking of the light heavyweight picture in Britain earlier on with, Frank Buglioni, the new champion,
Callum Johnson.
Of course, Anthony Yarde. And you know what? We've ignored this guy. If he goes and does, if he goes, say he went and did a number on Miles Shinkwin, it was it's a really good match. If he went and beat Miles comfortably, would you say he doesn't deserve some sort of title fight, a British title fight? No, because he's done really well, and I'm looking forward to him boxing on BoxNation this weekend. It's his TV debut, and it's a chance for him to say, "How well done, you fellas?" Or you talk about Johnson, Buglioni, Yarde, Hosey, Burton. Invite this fella to your little shindig.
Yes, there's a party going on, and Liam Conroy wants to get involved. And what about Geraghty against Quigley? That's an interesting one. Good little super featherweight fight.
Yeah, a battle of the men who lost to John O'Carroll, and a really, really good 50-50 fight. Both men are good boxers. I expect a long, drawn-out fight here. Real pick and fight, this one. I've got a little feeling that John Quigley might go and win this one.
Yeah.
I thought he gave John O'Carroll really, a good night. I've just got a feeling he'll pull this out the bag.
It's got the makings of a good fight, and also you've got, of course, Jack Catterall, his first fight under Jamie Moore. I know this is just a bit of a run out. It's a 6-rounder, but he's still got a job to do, hasn't he?
Hey, he's got to get in there. There's a lot in the pipeline being planned for Jack, and it's all about getting used to fighting. The new trainer giving the instructions, getting used to Jamie for a few rounds, getting a few rounds under his belt. I think he could be fighting. I think he's boxing on the Leeds undercard in May.
Okay.
And then there's talk of him fighting O'Hara Davis soon. That he could fight Terry Flanagan if Flanagan becomes a 2-weight world champion when his fight with Maurice Hooker finally takes place.
Yeah. Now I know this is just a 6-rounder. It's it's a keep busy fight for Jack Catterall. But if he takes his eye off the ball, this isn't the sort of sport where you can just take an opponent so lightly.
It's an unforgiving sport, Dev, isn't it? And if he took his eye off the ball and come unstuck this weekend, there's not going to be O'Hara Davis. There's not going to be Terry Flanagan in the immediate future. It's a complete rebuild job. But Jack's got to get it, right with Jamie this time. He's had 18, 19 fights. I think he's on his 3rd trainer. I think it's important that he gets this relationship works.
Yeah. And Steve, now I've heard that there's another show on Saturday night. Someone told me, and a show which you could potentially record and then watch after the live boxing from Preston. So go on, Steve, give me a take on Joshua Parker.
It's a heavyweight unification fight. It's a big fight. I've got a feeling that it's going to go rounds, but I think Anthony Joshua will win comfortably. I think size, that little bit of power's in his favour. I fancy Joshua late, but look, it's a good fight. Let's not get it wrong, but let's not start thinking that if Anthony Joshua wins, he's going to go straight in with Deontay Wilder. That's not gonna happen. Anthony Joshua wins. I see him fighting Dillian White in a rematch.
Oh, really?
In the summer, yeah. That's what I see.
So I was in Twitter wars over the weekend.
I saw you in Twitter. I was going to come in and say I agree with you when people were saying Wilder Joshua was a 30-70 fight per split, but I thought, hey, Mr. S is a big boy. He can fight his own battles.
Well, you can check out the tweets on my timeline if you wish to do so. But generally, the gist of it is, I think that they Matchroom will keep Joshua away from Wilder for as long as possible. Let the fight build up, etc.
It's a great fight. It's a great fight.
Fantastic fight.
We're not. It's the until Tyson Fury gets active again, and please that'll be soon. It's the heavyweight fight everyone wants to see between, when I talk active heavyweights.
Yeah.
We want to see the fight. I'd love it to happen next. It's not going to happen next.
Yeah. No, I agree with you, and I think Dillian Whyte is being carefully manoeuvred to kind of roadblock that fight.
And he did everything he could do the weekend.
Yeah.
I think when I come into before we went on air, you said, I said, look, you can say what you want about Lucas Brown. Dillian Whyte did what he had to do, and you said American debut, a highlight reel knockout. That's what people who are casuals tuning in want to see.
But still, as a fan, I want to see Joshua Wilder next. I'm not interested in Wilder versus White. That's just me. I want to see the best fight the best straight away. But hey ho. Now, Steve, I wasn't going to mention anything, but you've been a little distracted, like there's something on your mind in this show. I've caught you grimacing a few times. But is it a rant that you've got for me, or are you, dare I say, are you going to lavish praise on someone?
Yeah, there's a little bit of a rant coming because of what it was, but it's the praise is going to go to Joe Gallagher.
Let me just stop you right there. What you talking about, Lillis? Now go.
The praise is going to go to Joe Gallagher and Don Charles. Take a bow, Joe and Don. Both from the weekend had fighters. Well, Joe had mixed emotions. He had a winner, Callum Johnson, and a loser, Scott Cardell. And in Scott's shootout with Lewis Ritson, before the referee stopped in, he threw the towel in. Don Charles, when he went in combat, should we say, with Joe Gallagher, when Frank Buglioni, seconds before he was stopped by Callum Johnson, Don Charles threw the towel in. And I think it's good to see trainers making these decisions before referees. They get so much stick, and some do let fighters take too much. I mean, Joe himself come under fire when he let Crawler out against Linares in their second fight. But I just thought it was really good to see the weekend, and we're so used to seeing brave corners, as we call them, let fighters take stick. Just that when they throw the towel in, it's time for a bit of praise. And I think their sympathetic actions at the weekend was perhaps overshadowed by, of course, what happened in the White and Brown fight. But fair play to Joe and to Don for throwing in the towels, and I wish there was more cornermen who instead of being brave saw sense.
So Steve, are you telling me that there is no rant this week? Is that a pig flying I see outside the
no
the
rant.
studio window?
I do wish what we do see every week though is corners that are too brave. That's an example of excellent corner work in both cases. In major fights for Scott Cardle, you wonder how he gets back now, but Joe wasn't going to let him go on. And of course, Frank Buglioni was arguing his case initially when he was stopped.
Yeah.
But Don saw something different from the other side of the ropes, being close up. Good corner work all round.
Nice words, Steve Lillis. Now we are a 24/7 boxing channel, and here's a little taste of what we've got coming up. Wednesday, 7 o'clock. Jeff Horn, Manny Pacquiao from Australia, from Brisbane. Pacquiao lost. He lost his title in that fight. Huge upset. Give me one line to describe that fight, Steve Lillis.
Upset of 2017.
Nicely put. And that's Wednesday at 7 o'clock. Thursday, 1 o'clock. How about Gennady Golovkin against David Lemieux? Now we know all about Lemieux, don't we?
That was. You know what? That was a good fight, and you can argue, although I think Gennady stopped him, Triple G stopped him in the 8th round.
Yeah.
He must have been landing more shots on Triple G than he did on Billy Joe Saunders in 36 minutes. It just goes to show you can stop someone, but it don't mean you are more impressive against that person than someone that might outbox them for every second of every minute of every round.
One thing I'll add there is that Billy Joe Saunders has been quite vocal in Lemieux being somewhat of a sore loser after their fight, hence the way he is just tormenting him on Twitter.
He's trolling him.
And he said recently, actually, he times his tweets to ensure that Lemieux is awake and sees them, which is just fantastic.
The best ones aren't the one when he takes the mickey out of him. It's just the ones when he says, "Good morning, David." They, to me, are that brilliant trolling by Billy Joe Saunders. To me, he has become, he's not just arguably the best middleweight in the world.
Ooh.
Although, there's cases for Golovkin, and some will make a case for the slightly tainted Canelo.
Sure.
You can make a case of Billy Joe. What he is the undisputed king of right now is Twitter.
Absolutely. Well, in that Golovkin-Lemieux fight, you'll see in the post-match interview, David Lemieux is perhaps, again, not being a particularly good loser. I mean, you say, is there such a thing as a good loser?
You're being a bit... I tell you what, you can tell Easter's coming and maybe show a bit of goodwill to everybody. He's a diabolical loser.
No, I guess
He's
so.
got an... You know what? If he woke up at 5 to 8 instead of 8 o'clock in the morning, he'll have an excuse for that.
But then, Steve, you show me a good loser, and you show me a loser.
Well, it's still a loser. It's how you lose.
Now, there's no Bunce's boxing hour this week, as it's Easter, so there's eggs to be eaten. So Friday, 7 o'clock, Steve Bunce will not be on your TV. I would imagine he'll be eating an Easter egg.
Or in Billy Joe's case, cracking them over in the deep in his head.
Saturday, 7 o'clock. As we discussed earlier, it's Liam Conroy against Miles Shinkwin, it's Jack Catterall, it's Declan Geraghty against Johnny Quigley. It's a big show from Preston, live on BoxNation. I don't think there's anything else on that night, so just tune in, make sure you're watching that, and we're always adding new shows to the schedule as well, new events, so keep an eye on the BoxNation social media. And a little programme note for you here as well, on the 5th of April, Josh Warrington, Fighter by Trade, will air. We don't know the exact time just yet, but keep an eye on our social media. So this is Steve Lillis spending a couple of days with the Leeds Warrior, as he's mentioned in previous weeks. Give me one line to summarise how great this show is and why people should watch.
Josh makes it.
Yeah, nice. I like that. Okay.
And the 5th of April is my birthday. If you want
really?
if you want to send cards in for next week, it's my birthday.
21 again?
Add on or double it, and then add about another 14 years on top of that, and you might get there. Well, you will get there.
Wow. You don't look a day over 50, though. I'll give you that, though, Steve. I will give you that. So another week, another great show. We've heard from Frank Warren. We've heard from Anthony Yarde, Liam Conroy. The list goes on, but now I've got to bring you the news that I've been dreading. You've heard me in recent weeks fighting tooth and nail to secure an interview between yourself, Steve Lillis, and the world-famous American referee, Steve Willis. Priceless content. There have been one-way messages on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. I've sought advice from the likes of Barry Jones, Zelfa Barrett, Ahara Davis, and many more as to how I can secure this interview. Last week, it all looked great. I spoke to Marcus McDonald, the referee. He said, he's my mate, I'll message him. So he messaged him, but he's come back and he doesn't want this work, basically, Steve Willis. So to kind of summarise where we are with this, he actually doesn't want all the attention. Steve Willis, apparently. He says he's got a good thing going on in America with all the refereeing, and he doesn't want anyone to think he's more in it for, the getting his face and his name out there. So the gist of it is he's ducked me.
That's disappointing.
Yeah.
That, fair play to you for chasing.
Yeah.
That he has rejected your polite and kind requests.
Yeah.
But you know what? If he just wants to keep that reason he's given, just wants to get on with his refereeing, doesn't want to be seen as a bit of a media celebrity, which some referees are accused of, I think Lillis gives Willis a pass.
You're going to give him a pass?
I don't think Sarni's going to give him a pass, but...
Mate, I'm at a loss. My heart is broken. I got this news on Wednesday last week, and I've carried it around with me until today.
Well, fair play to Marcus McDonald for trying for you. Thank you, Marcus.
Thank you, Marcus. Thank you, Marcus. And I mean, what now? I mean, this has been real fun, just trying to track him down. Do we try Bruce Willis? I mean, do we try something like that? And who else can we try and get on this show?
Oh, there's no Lillises, are there?
There's no Lillis there. I mean, there's just your family. But I can't imagine that we want to go that route. So I'm going to try Bruce Willis. Yeah, I'm going to try Bruce Willis. Let's do it. Leave us a review. Give us some love on iTunes. I'm reliably informed that we get billions and billions of listeners every week, but we've only had 50-odd reviews, so let's get that number up a little bit. 5 stars, please. Remember to tweet us any comments at BoxNation TV, at Steve Lillis, at SarniDev. And give us a follow on Instagram as well. Across all of these platforms, we are there. Have yourself a brilliant calorific Easter. Steve, what are you up to this Easter?
Eating Easter eggs.
Yeah.
No, you know what? I don't eat all that sort of stuff.
Do you not?
I'll be training and running and that sort of thing. I'm having Saturday and Sunday with my family.
Yeah.
But I'll still have time for a run each day. Long run Saturday morning, and then I might have a small cream egg Sunday afternoon.
Treat yourself. Why
myself.
not? Why not? That's what Easter is all about. Remember to subscribe to the best boxing channel in the world, 24/7 Boxing, at BoxNation.com.